Yo, what is going on, you pompous Pidgey? Before we get into the deck we're going to play some games with today, I want to remind you guys that if you ever want to quickly and easily import any of the lists I play with here on the YouTube channel, you can do that by going over to PokemonCard.io. There's a link in the description that'll take you right over to my profile page, where you can find all the decks that I played with here on the YouTube channel, uploaded over there to import into PTCGO or PTCG Live. And now I know sometimes I'm a little bit late on uploading the deck lists over to PokemonCard.io, but I'm trying to get better at it, and hopefully by the time you guys are watching this video, the list will be over on PokemonCard.io. That way, if you want to play with it, you can easily import it into PTCGO or PTCG Live. All right, let's take a look at it. So it is just Arceus Duraludon, which I know we all know Arceus Duraludon at this point, probably. But there's a couple things in here that I wanted to talk about specifically. Now, I've been talking a lot of trash on Arceus Duraludon recently, but for some reason, I felt inspired the other day on the stream to try it out and give it a shot. And it was actually pretty good. It felt pretty solid, actually, against all the meta decks that I went up against, and even some of the non-meta decks or more fringe decks. It did feel pretty solid overall. The only thing that I don't have in here right now that I think I might want to try and include and try out is the Eldegoss V that was popularized in Arceus Duraludon from it being in the winning list from Milwaukee Regionals. I didn't really feel like I needed it in the games that I played, but it's definitely something I'm considering potentially adding into here as well. The couple things, 3 Hyper Potion. I feel like finding Hyper Potion is super important in so many situations with this deck that I did increase the general count. Like, generally people play 2. I have gone up to 3. And then the biggest card in here that I'm playing right now that a lot of people aren't, I guess I'll mention Avery as well. Avery wasn't been super popular in the deck, but I think recently, especially if you're playing on the ladder and you're going up against like the Soul Rock Lunatone deck, you're going to want something like Avery to give yourself, a little bit of an advantage against that deck. Also very strong against Palkia, so a couple Averys in here. But the Tool Jammers are the main card that I'm playing here that I pretty much have seen no one else playing. And the reason for the Tool Jammers is it's a way to get around big charms when you go up against Arceus and Teleon, so you can boss KO their Arceus Vs off the bench. Because if you can't do that, then you're just simply going to get Charon's Care looped out of the game and just lose because of that. So you need something like a Tool Jammer or a Choice Belt to kind of give yourself the option or the ability to KO Arceus Vs, because they're always going to have big charms on them, because that's what Arceus and Teleon does in this matchup. So I got 2 Tool Jammer in here over 2 big charms, and also it kind of acts as kind of like a pseudo big charm when you go up against Choice Belts, because it prevents Choice Belt from doing plus 30 damage, which, basically acts as if it was kind of a big charm in some situations. So it's kind of like a big charm in some situations. In other situations, it's a Tool Jammer and can shut off your opponent's big charms, or Capes of Toughness, or whatever. So yeah, Tool Jammer's pretty good in here, I think, right now. I think you definitely just need a way to KO Arceus with big charms, because Arceus and Teleon is the most popular deck in the format right now, and why would you not want to be able to beat or have a slight edge against the most popular deck in the format? Like I said, Eldegoss V is a cool card here that I want to try, and I also want to try a build with Tower of Darkness as well. I never really gave Tower of Darkness a shot, and the Crystal Caves are like okay, but getting off the Hyper Potion itself is the most important part, and then past that, I feel like the extra 30 heal doesn't do a whole ton in many situations. So, I mean, in some situations it's like okay, and the Trading Card's actually super sick. It allows you to kind of cut back on your energy a little bit, but then have like the option of, an extra fighting or mental energy, because if you draw awkwardly with the research early on, you might want one over the other. So the Trading Card has actually been super sick, and I really like the one of Training Corp. But that's it. Funky things, different things that I got going on in my list. Let's go ahead. Let's get some gameplay. You guys want to see some more games with this list specifically, or Arceus Duraludon actually in general, I will have another video uploaded on my secondary YouTube channel, AzulGG Gameplay, a little bit later today, that you can check out if you want to catch me playing some more games with this deck. And if you just want to catch me playing PTCGO in general with a bunch of different decks and in tournaments and stuff like that, check out the live stream, twitch.tv/AzulGG. First link and second link in the description for those. Give them a click, give them a follow, and a subscribe. And let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Got the coin flip win, and we are going first. Got the Arceus start. No energy yet. Got a top deck to work with at the very least, and a mulligan from my opponent. So we are going to be able to draw 2 cards at the least. Looks like we are up against Palkia. Double Avery in the hand. Would love to continue to work with that, to be honest. Marnie's not it. Oh, no energy. All right, that's pretty rough. Gonna go ahead and get rid of a research here. Start to build up my Duraludon. Might just have to play for like a Trinity Charge next turn. Pass over my opponent. Yeah, no energy is pretty rough, to be honest. I could have put a second Arceus in play as well, to be honest. I really just want an Avery. So, to be honest, I'm really hoping I top deck a DTE. Or maybe I'll just, if they fill up their bench here, which is definitely possible they do, I might just like play Avery and be like, hope I draw a DTE. Because like the amount of damage we reduce if our opponent fills up their bench on this first turn is pretty big, especially if they start to run out of ways. They run out of ways to find basic Pokemon. Like if they burn a bunch of Battle VIP passes on this first turn, we know they play because we did see it off their mulligan. And it can be hard for them to like establish a full bench again, for sure. Not too hard if I'm not putting on any pressure though, because then they don't need to be doing too much turn to turn, but it could help, you know. And the Avery's going to the bottom of the deck is like another thing I don't like with this hand, because like we're gonna Marnie both Averys to the bottom of the deck. Ugh, doesn't sound great. But if my opponent does not fill up their bench here, definitely gonna go with the Marnie, try and find that Trinity Charge for sure. That'll be our play. Have to wait and see what they go with here though. They haven't loaded up past these first three. No Battle VIP passes yet. And yeah, they might just call it at that. It looks like it is going to be it. There's the DTE grab, though. The DTE top deck I was talking about. So now I just kind of want a Trinity Charge. Doesn't seem worth this time around, though. Throw this here. Quick Ball of Boss. Got everything we need in the deck. Marnie. Putting another bench Pokemon in play doesn't feel great, but I do want to set up 2 Duraludon. We definitely want 2 Duraludon in this matchup. So, gonna go with it like this and hope it kind of works out. Evolution Incense, grab the Duraludon VMAX. Recharge. Yeah, unlucky. Not get off that attack, but it's all right. We can settle for this. Not a bad turn at all. Still got off that Trinity Charge. Would have loved it if my opponent had loaded up their bench there, because then I could have gotten Avery off. Instead, I'm going to go with a little bit of disruption with the Marnie. Have a Marnie for potentially on the next turn as well. We do have this Duraludon kind of hanging out here that my opponent could boss, but if they do boss up this Duraludon V to try and trap it in the active for a turn, it's not too difficult for us to then hopefully get into like the Starbirth, because then my opponent wouldn't be KOing my Arceus, which means we still have Starbirth left to work with. It shouldn't be too difficult for us to get into a Starbirth from there. I could have not benched this Duraludon, to be honest, to try and hope my opponent whiffs the knockout here. Maybe that was a mistake on my part, actually. Because with a full bench on their side, plus Choice Belt, they're doing 190. If they don't play the Zigzagoon, it would be pretty hard for them to actually get the KO on my active here if I don't bench this. So, actually, I'm kind of regretting benching this Duraludon V. Also because it's like pretty hard for them to KO it, even if I was to bench it a turn later. Yeah, I'm kind of regretting benching that Duraludon V. At first in my head, I was like, I like the idea of it. The more I've played out this turn, though, definitely the less I like it, for sure. Yeah, definitely not a huge fan of it anymore, to be honest. At first, I was like, all right, I like this. I like where this is going. I like benching this Duraludon, get it to the evolution. I was kind of just like assuming my Arceus V gets KO'd no matter what. But the more this turn has gone on, definitely realizing if we hadn't benched it, there's a good shot our Arceus would survive. There's still a decent shot that Arceus survives. It's still possible, I guess I should say. But all they need is like a full bench plus Choice Belt. But Palkia deck can sometimes struggle to pull that off. They're going with the Path to the Peak. So this makes me think that they did whiff. Yeah, if they're stressing to get the Path to the Peak out, this makes me think that they did whiff here. That's great for us. Possibly use that later on. Yeah, I really just want to pressure the active here, I think. Gonna check this. Got an Avery. I think I will go with the Avery here as well. It only gets rid of one of my opponent's Pokemon, but we don't know the next time that they put another one in play anyways. And we did get the Arceus, but I don't really want to attack. I could attack with the Arceus here, to be honest. I could attack with the Arceus here. Load up a bunch of energy in play. I lose my Starbirth then, which is what I'm thinking I want to try and keep access to, is the Starbirth. Maybe it's not that big of a deal to keep access to the Starbirth as opposed to just like thinning out the deck fully. Okay, maybe this is just better. Trinity Nova. Get off a punch here. Just set up both the Duraludons. Actually, this seems... I like this a little bit more, to be honest. And actually, I think if my opponent benches a Palkia next turn, I'm probably just going to chase that with Boss. I'm probably just going to chase down their Palkia with Boss. I do lose a DTE to this Arceus as well. Now we get access to our Starbirth. But I do kind of want to force my opponent down the 2-3-3 prize trade where, like, they knock out my V-Star. I do have to be careful, though, because they probably play Echoing Horn. Yeah, because they play Echoing Horn, maybe it would have been better for me to just... go a different route actually with that. Oh, a retreat. What just happened? Okay. Not expected at all. That is definitely something I did not expect to happen right there. Retreat. What just happened? I did not expect that in the slightest. Now, they don't KO our active here, though. They are still 2 damage short. Yeah, not something I'm planning for. Top deck is a quick ball. Okay. We do have Starbirth now, though. So let's do that. I could get KO'd by quick shooting or Goon. This is so weird. This has become such a weird situation, to be honest. This is so weird. KOing the Greninja is not something I'm super concerned with. I do want to get my own stadium in play. And then I kind of want to boss KO their Drizzile, to be honest. That's like kind of what I'm eyeing up here. Yeah, I mean, this kind of sets me up nicely. Maybe I should have gone for another boss here instead, though. Gonna go boss on the Drizzile. I don't really care about the Radiant Greninja. This also stops quick shooting as an option unless they're gonna rare candy out the removes another Pokemon from play, which I would have gotten if I'd KO'd the Greninja. But I like this a little bit more. Interesting. A lot of options there. Not too sure which one was correct, to be honest, but gonna settle for this one. Yeah, I don't really care if they use too many more. They're down a lot of energy. 3, 4, 5. I don't really care if they use too many more concealed cards. It's not going to be a viable option much longer for my opponent because they do need energy to attach for each turn. Oh, there's the Zigzagoon. I was like, they could have it. They do have it. I was kind of just hoping that they wouldn't have it. I could have gone with Hyper Potion plus energy for my Arceus, but then I leave their training card in play, which I really didn't want to do. Yeah, I really didn't want to leave the training card in play. All right. Still in it. Yeah, another boss here could have been good as well. Like I said, we could have just gone boss KO their next Palkia. Definitely would have been a pretty solid choice here. Just going boss KO their next Palkia. Because they're definitely going to want to put one down. They don't have to put one down this turn, but next turn they definitely want to put one down. So that would have been a pretty solid option as well. I'm still feeling comfortable, though. Like I said, we're hitting their resources pretty hard. 3 Irida now gone. Cheryl's done. Not something I expected at all. Did not expect the Cheryl. I haven't seen that in Palkia pretty much at all. I mean, I saw it in Tord's build from like Milwaukee, but since then. Now they're down 4 Irida as well. So going through a lot of their cards. Subspace Swell hits pretty hard. 160 is a lot. Setting up the 2 KO there is real. Ooh, insane top deck. Go ahead and Hyper Pot. And then Crystal Cave. I'm going to attach the basic energy to the bench here. And I'm actually, and that's just to concede. The Hyper Potion's too much for them to handle, I guess. It did put us in a pretty good spot, not gonna lie. But I did not expect them to concede. All right, get into it again. This time we're going second. So definitely a disadvantage overall. Mulligan from me and my opponent. Mulligan again. So looks like my opponent's gonna be walking away with some 3 cards. Looks like we're playing a mirror match here. Duraludon. Well, actually, nothing in their hand. Actually, it's Arceus something, but they have this like lightning on their deck box. So like Arceus Pikachu or something. Oof. Our hand, not terrible, but definitely lacking a little something. Not great. So Arceus, yeah, Arceus something. Arceus lightning something probably. Arceus flying Pikachu. Definitely a fine matchup, but definitely unfavorable. Especially with a hand like this. I mean, we don't have a lot of options here. So hopefully we top deck. That's a good start. Almost good enough to get to the mustard, but not quite. It does give us a Trinity Charge target, which is super important. I don't want to give up the Hyper Potion. I love Hyper Potions. I think I am giving up the Hyper Potion here. Everything else is theoretically playable down over the next couple turns to get into the mustard, so. Recharge, fighting, double metal. Maybe 1 metal, actually. That way I can try and use these metals out of hand. Like I could attach active and then attach there. Okay, yeah, that would actually lead to being a little bit more efficient and making sure we can actually set up 2 Duraludons. Oh, the Goon Ping! Oh, no. Hopefully they can't find their Choice Belt. That usually means that they do play... I mean, if you got Goon, you got Choice Belt in Arceus decks. That's just how it goes. Running Goon without Choice Belt is weird. Running Choice Belt without Goon is fine. So they definitely play the Choice Belt. Hopefully it's prized. They haven't searched their deck yet. They also need to find their VMAX. So we're hoping my opponent has prized their Choice Belt. But yeah, there's the V-Star. Trinity Nova on the way. We need some kind of top deck here to give us a shot in this one. That was a Starbirth. Is Choice Belt prized? Please say it is. One time. Choice Belt be prized. Pretty please. Not playing super fast. Okay. That seems like an adequate amount of time to line up the Choice Belt. Flying Peak on the way as well. All right. So Flying Peak getting involved. Not super scary is the Flying Peak. The Choice Belt, though, is super scary and super unfortunate for us to have to deal with. If we can handle it. It's definitely going to make things tough from here. If we are able to attack on this next turn, we still have some hope in this one for sure. But that's going to be the question. Especially if they're just lining up Flying Peaks. What we're generally afraid of in this matchup is Charon's Care. But you can't Charon's Care a Flying Pikachu, so either my opponent maybe doesn't play it, or doesn't realize the importance of it in this matchup. I'm going to go with hoping that they don't play it. We'll see, though. Hopefully this top deck is pretty reasonable. Ultra Ball, Quick Ball. Duraludon and not going to quite get it done. Still not out of it, though. Gatling Slug for, I don't even know, 90? Okay, that does set up the 2-hit KO, actually. I was like, I don't even know how much damage we're doing. Can Mustard next turn. We will have to bench a Duraludon V and Mustard out of Duraludon, which means one of the Duraludons will be basically useless in play. So that's not good. Actually, I don't have to take anything off the Mustard. I can just Mustard and not get anything. That's the better way to go about it, for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. All right, I think we're still in this one for sure. We'll see what my opponent's got here. I'm still feeling... I'm not feeling, like, great, obviously. Like, we're not, like, in a super good spot, but... it's winnable for sure. What are they doing? 160 with that? So if we heal 30, the Pikachu actually doesn't even 2-hit KO us. As long as this top deck is playable, that's all we need. Okay, that is playable. I don't want to lose my energy, but I guess I kind of have to. Put this down. Ultra Ball, get the evolution. Ugh, all right. Is that my only play here? Put this down. Ultra Ball, those two, get the evolution, get out another Duraludon. No better option, right? No better choice. I'm trying to see if there is something better to do here, but I don't see it. Losing the energy feels really bad. Bench this, attach the energy. Doesn't work. Okay. Whatever. Let's just settle for it. Sometimes you gotta, excuse me, settle. We still get to set up 2 Duraludons, and we have 3 energy left in the deck, so we can get that energy on our next Duraludon. We're honestly really just hoping that we can find a way to heal this, or we could find a way to heal this. We just want to attach for this turn, to be honest. No attachment. We could still set up for Starbirth. I think that's the way to go, actually. Yeah. I don't see why I wouldn't give myself the Starbirth option. 180 HP left. Chillin'. Around the option of the boss. Okay. Still in it. Might even just go with set up an Arceus to attack with on the following turn. And then we could actually like 2-hit KO the Peak and then boss KO a Zigzagoon. Could be the play here, actually. Or I could try and keep this Duraludon live a little bit longer. It's got 180 HP right now. They hit us for 160. We can heal 150 on the next turn. Hit, go from there. So I might try and fight for this Duraludon a little bit longer. We'll see what my opponent does. I might just give up on it, though, and go into the Arceus. We'll probably just open up our turn with the research. You know, evolve to the Arceus, play the research, go from there. See what my opponent does on this turn, of course, but don't mind taking that route. And like I said, we only have to deal with Flying Pikachus from here on out, or so it's looking. There's a boss on my Arceus. Definitely fine with this. Should be able to just switch this Arceus back to the bench, and we'll have the Starbirth to work with to guarantee that. This definitely makes me want to start working on my other Duraludon. For sure. All right, let's get rid of this. Grab this. 2 boss left. Plenty of energy. Okay, Arceus evolve. And then, yeah, chuck it all with the research. What do we draw? No energy. So, not what I wanted to see. Use this one, I think. And quick ball away this. I'll go ahead and Starbirth for switch. And TTE, to be honest. I think I'm just going to try and load this one up. Heal it. Get rid of that. Just get it ready to go. Throw a jammer on it. Switch into it. Fully loaded. Duraludon fully loaded. Swinging at 220. How many boss is that for my opponent? 2 boss gone for my opponent. Okay. Probably don't play a ton. Now, they are a Pokegear build of a deck, so they probably don't even play B-Barrel, to be honest. That'd be my guess. Now the Arceuses are coming out. Might be a little too late for my opponent. I am a little bit scared of this Flying Pikachu, though. The fly on that one is actually kind of scary, to be honest. Oh, and a research. Actually, they had a ton of options in their hand. They had a little minion as well. Collapse Stadium making its way out now, but we got the other Crystal Cave to counter that. And our Duraludon is, yep, here comes the fly. And I don't have a boss to counteract it. Don't have Starbirth anymore to counteract that. So heads on fly means no attack for us for the turn. Let's see if they get it. Yay. All right. Top deck boss? No. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just research and keep thinning out the deck aggressively. Oh, I thought I had another Arceus in there. I'm not going to lie. Research. Looking for some basic energy for my next Duraludon, to be honest, is I think what I'm going to be eyeing up here. Did find a basic energy. Start to load it up. Should go there as well. Oh, wait. But that's right. We ignore effects. I completely forgot that we ignored the effects on my opponent's active Pokemon, which includes the effect of Fly that my opponent put on their Pokemon by getting heads on Fly. So we're in a pretty good spot. This looks like a dub to me. Overall, my opponent's going to try and attack with Arceus here. We could get Roxanne to this turn as well. Nope, just a Max Balloon, which basically locks this one up, and that is the dub. Yeah, I just completely forgot that we ignored all effects. There we go. Some games with Arceus and Duraludon. Like I said, not my favorite deck in the current meta, but I think it's definitely stronger than I've been giving it credit for currently. And if you guys are looking for a different deck to try out that does it differently than most of the other Arceus builds, Arceus Duraludon is the one for you. Catch y'all in the next one.